Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Romy.
Hey, hi.
Oh my God.
Hey, hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
So just let's wait for some time till everyone else joins in along with Sudhir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Hey, thanks Kailash for turning on the video. So for everyone, good morning everyone once again. And I would just request you to turn on your video if possible. And we'll just wait for some more time till Sudhir and others join in. And I'm really sorry I'm not able to turn on my video because of some issue with my webcam for some time.
Thanks, Romy. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
People are joining.
Yes. So,
Now, Sudhir also joined.
yes. Hi, Sudhir.
Hi, Sudhir. Sudhir, you are at mute. Your mic is mute.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Good morning,
Hi.
Sudhir.
Good morning.
Sudhir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, you didn't have to wait long, right?
No,
No,
not
not.
at all. Not at all. Thanks for joining in, Sudhir. And thanks a lot for turning on the video, guys. And I'm sorry, Sudhir, my video is not working for some time. And
but
I'm not able to turn on the video, hence.
No problem. This picture is looking good. So,
Thank you.
huh,
So I'm just thinking we'll just wait for some more time till others join in.
sure.
And yeah.
Yeah. Till then, let's have the update of
Absolutely.
what's happening in virus in your area.
Absolutely. Yes, totally.
So have you guys turned the work from home or what's up?
Yeah, so for me, I work with Ericsson, and I'm located in Kolkata now. So we got an option of working from home, though there are no cases still registered yet in Bengal. So, but still, just to take the precaution, we have been told like you work from home as much as you can, and only be in office if required at all.
Does
So yeah,
work from home actually work?
yes,
Because
it does. It does. So
I
yeah.
have a problem. You know, I think work from home is like chutti.
Yes,
Totally.
actually, work from home is one part of the is half work, half home, like a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But just that if you keep getting the work, there is no other option other than getting the work done for you. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session today.
Good morning.
Hi, guys. You can try switching on the video, please, and the audio, and say a hi to Sudhir and all of others.
Hey guys, I'm Sudhir.
Hi, Shruti.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hi
Sudhir.
Sudhir, I'm Kanti.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Naga.
Hi Sudhir, I'm Sakshi.
Hi Sakshi.
Hello, Sudhir. I'm Abhishek.
Hi Abhishek. अरे लोकेशन भी बताओ यार पता नहीं समझ नहीं
From Kolkata.
Yeah, I think we all are from Kolkata.
Yeah, I'm also from Kolkata. Shruti.
Okay.
Hello, Sudhir.
That's so lovely.
Hello, I am from Indore.
Oh,
Great.
hi.
Yeah.
And I am from Ranchi, Jharkhand,
Yes.
Kailash.
Okay. I'm based in Kolkata, but I'm from Ranchi as well. Kailash.
I'm from Bangalore
who
and
is,
I'm also from Jharkhand. I'm from Lahore.
No, but अभी किधर हो?
oh,
A lot of us from Jharkhand.
oh, Sakshi, right.
Yeah.
Hi, Jyoti sir. I'm Molina and
Hi,
I'm from
Molina.
Bangalore as well.
Nice.
Oh, welcome, Monila.
Hi everyone, this is Naga. I'm from Hyderabad.
Wow,
Oh,
names
Hi.
is
welcome. Good morning.
Naga, you from Hyderabad?
Yeah,
Okay. I've shifted to Hyderabad, but right now I'm in Pune.
Yeah.
okay.
Sudhir, how is Hyderabad? As in, which place are you liking more, Pune or Hyderabad?
Don't ask very political questions.
I am going to ask this kind of questions only.
Then you'll get the answers.
Yeah, I have been to Pune and I have been to Hyderabad once. Pune, I really like the weather and everything.
Yeah.
Like I was initially located in Bangalore, so
Hmm.
weather-wise, I could match over
Yeah.
there. Like it was little similar.
I
Yeah,
think Pune is uncomparable in terms of
yeah.
weather.
Same as in I have the same worry. Yeah.
Very frankly, I haven't been out much other than the office. And when I'm in the office, it's a lovely place. So
Wonderful. Yeah. Because for me also, when I shifted to Kolkata, my worry was like, how am I going to even manage the weather now over here? Like it's going to be hot in summer, and Bangalore used to be like cool all around the year in a way. So let's see. Let's hope for the best. Yeah.
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 Good. So how many people on? Can you see?
Great. Yes, I can see. I am just allowing 13 of us are here. I'm just
Hello,
admitting
sir.
all
I'm
13.
Prachi. I'm from Odisha.
Hi everyone. Good morning.
You know, I think Romy, you should start charging 10 rupees for this.
I will plan that. Yes, totally. I will.
Because if you do that, then everybody will be on time. And
Absolutely. I know. That is a plan. Let's see. So they just a small overview for you is like, so the group that we have is created by IDF Kolkata, and we are just trying to get the experts from the industry and share your stories with us so that we all can listen to your stories, the great work that you have done till date, your inspirations, your motivations, and just get ourselves motivated, I think. And it's a very informal platform in that way. And we all should be, as in everyone, this is for everyone, like, please ask as many questions as you have for Sudhir. Even I have thousands of questions for him already.
We
So
can start
yes,
with the
and
questions.
absolutely, and it's a two-way conversation always. As in, if you also want to share something, you can always ask us something, and definitely it's a. As in, that's where I say we do not have really any agenda for the time being, and we would love to learn from each other.
Lovely.
That's the main purpose of the platform. And yes, so I have another co-host with me who will be there in the following sessions, and I think he is. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Kailash, are you there? Kailash,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, I am.
Kailash, you
I'm here.
can give a small introduction to everyone. So, I have been conducting this forum for some time. So, our first talk started like a month and a half back with Sandeep, with Paul Sandeep, and then we had another session, second session with another person, and with you we have the third session. So, we are just hoping we can continue the talk session, the expert sessions with all the experts. And yes, so
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm Kailash Manji, and I'm a UX UI designer by profession here at Ranchi. And I have also, me along with my partner, have co-founded a learn-up lab where we train people in technology design and entrepreneurship. And we are building a community around design in here in Ranchi. Though it's very nascent here in Ranchi, and people look for Hyderabad, Pune, and Kolkata, and all other places. But we are trying here.
Very good.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Kailash. Yeah. So, Sudhir, we would really love to have your introduction. And as in, I know you very well. I know everything what you have done, etc. But
Wow.
so, if you would like to give a small introduction of.
So I'll do one thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking of this session, and I know we don't really have an agenda, but I have a presentation just for this kind of interactions, which I usually give in my class to NID when I'm orienting them to design.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically my introduction, and I will give you 5 different traits which I think we as designers need to have in India to grow and to motivate ourselves, to inspire ourselves. So I would actually, let me see if I can share the screen. I can, right?
Yes, you can, Sudhir. So there should be an option of share, and yeah, just in the below.
There is a green button.
Yeah, green in share in green. Yeah.
Yeah. So it says desktop, iPhone. Okay.
Yeah. You need to share the desktop.
Desktop, yes.
Okay. Right. Open system preferences. Okay. So can you see my screen? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet, right? Okay. Now I think we'll see it. Okay. So
yeah, we can see it now. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me just get into the presentation mode. So yes. So one is, thank you very much to get me into this. It's lovely, and this is my first online video lecture like this. And I think that is the way forward given the circumstances we have today. And also I think the reach is fantastic. You can join in from all these places everywhere.
Absolutely, yes.
So ask me questions whenever you want to. 2 major things for me. I consider myself as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I've always been a designer. And I've always felt that a designer is always an entrepreneur. You cannot be a designer without being an entrepreneur. And I'll create a distinction between these two. Whether you are a UX designer, or you are a graphic designer, or you are a industrial designer, or an architect, or any kind of design activities, it needs you to think beyond your brief. It needs you to move beyond your brief. It needs you to question things. It needs you to, a lot of times when people have very set views, change them. So entrepreneur is doing that always. It's like you may not know, but you need to extend the envelope always. So I believe every designer is an entrepreneur by nature, because you have to find a way always. Not every entrepreneur is a designer. Remember that. Entrepreneurs will always need designers, and that's why you'll find that more and more startups need designers right up in the beginning, because besides design, it's not just design. Besides design, we have this art of going ahead and finding solutions and moving things. So I take a lot of pride in this. Though my entrepreneur status has changed now, I've just joined a company I'm 54, and at this age, I've just joined my first job. So a week back, I was saying when
That's
people
wonderful.
yeah. So, but I still see it as an entrepreneur. And maybe I'll talk about this if we have time. A few of my clients, customers I have been working with over the years, I'll give you background. Yeah, and I've been leading transformational projects. So basically, what that means is that I've been working on brands, and I've been involved in the basic strategy where the brand itself gets transformed by the way it interacts with its audience stakeholders, right at the inception level. So most of these, like ICICI Bank it was not even called ICICI Bank at that time. Many of these companies since then. So let me tell you what I'm going to put a theme to my lecture so that it's easier to recall it later, or basically easier to take to have a takeaway from this. And that's what I call is a bee. I always say that designers are like madhumakhi, bees. We need to be like bees. And it's original idea, by the way. I think I wrote about this, but I'm not very sure. I'm sure some of you, if you've read any of my things, you might have read. Okay, so the issue one is that if you actually look at a bee, all the bees look same. They don't weigh different. I mean, look at our size and look at the bee size. Bee is so small and it's moving around. And if there are few of them moving around, it's difficult to track them. They're all same and they are never at one place. Why I'm saying this? Remember that designers are also very similar. For people who look at us from outside the domain of design, we all appear very same to them. So they don't distinguish between a UX designer, a graphic designer, a product designer. They don't. For them, designer ho matlab kar loge. You can do the things, right? Also, I feel we are very much like bees when it comes to moving around us. We are always buzzing around. We don't sit and do one thing. We do many things at one time. It's like whether we complete, we don't complete, we reach somewhere, we don't reach somewhere. We are always like moving. Ye karna hai, wo karna hai. I'll start something else. I'll think of starting something else. It's always like there's a whole lot of uthal-puthal in the head. You know, it's always going on. But nice thing is that we always reach the honey. The bee always is moving around. It might come into your apartment, it might come into your house, but whatever. Finally, it reaches and goes and gets the honey, and that's the destination. Okay, and I feel designers are also like that. We move around a lot.
Absolutely.
We think of a lot of ideas, but finally we know there's a destination. We have to solve this problem. We have to do something, and we do that. Very true about me, and I think it's true about everybody else. So something more about me. I always studied in Kendriya Vidyalayas, which was central schools, because my dad was in army. So I think the first 12 years of my education were in about 12 or 14 cities. So you can imagine that I didn't really belong to a place. Good in a way, because I am quick to move into a situation, get to know it, figure out what to do, and I think a lot of us are like that now. The first time I stayed in a place was Ahmedabad, 1983 to 1989. That's 6 years. So that's where you build the route for the first time, Gujarat, and then I moved to Pune. So 1989 we graduated and moved to Pune. So today is 19th of March. So in a month's time, it will be 31 years since I moved to Pune. So you can imagine. I know a lot of you are younger than that. when I say same, I had another complication of same, in the sense I have twin brother. So we are anyway same. So right from the beginning, I'm so getting used to, I'm so used to getting confused with my brother, and we are twins. So I didn't even come alone. So this guy is a chartered accountant. He's based in Bikaner. Um, we are very close to each other now. We speak every day almost. He knows nothing about art, design, nothing, and I know nothing about money, and that's it. So it's like a very good uh, complementary situation for us.
There is a in the contrast way.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, there's a story with this that he used to be. My mother doesn't remember which one of us is elder, by the way. So till about 5 years back, I used to behave as the elder one. So I've always got that, I am the elder one, and I'm responsible. And suddenly 5 years back, there's an astrologer who comes and says, okay, no, you're not the elder one, he's the elder one. The guy who, he draws some chart and all, and he says the guy with the money and all is the one who was born at 4:45, and the guy with the art was born at 5 o'clock. So our situation has reversed in last 5 years. Happens to designers, right? This is when I was at NID. I was very thin, very lanky. Anyway,
Wow.
so at NID, then first thing after NID, or actually during NID, this was, I think, fourth year, we were running a course on professional design procedures. And me and some friends landed up forming a company called Elephant Design. Started as a joke, as a course, but then we got serious about this and we moved to Pune. We actually registered the company when we were still on campus. In 2002, I realized that designers didn't talk to each other. They were very not scared, but they were like, there's a lot of jealousy and there's a lot of like, I know this, I won't tell you this. It's I'm the designer, you may not be the designer kind of feel. So I started a group called Design India online. So this was on Yahoo. It still exists, but I think Yahoo's now shutting the e-groups. That time FaceTime and Google groups and all these things were not there. So the first location I could find was Yahoo group, and we formed this group of designers from all over. A lot of them from NID, a lot of them from IDC, other places. And very soon we had some very senior journalists, Economic Times editors and Business Today and Business Day. A lot of writing crowd came in. Then the institute heads from design colleges, they started joining in. MP Ranjan was very vocal on this. So it basically became a group where we could discuss about design, and probably a first group. There was nothing like this in India before this. I still approve each and every membership on this. And I had like a very, very difficult time keeping a lot of non-designers out of this, managers and engineers who wanted to be onto the group. So this became a very pure design group. This is 2002, and today I think this group has about 3,500 members on Yahoo, which is the core group. But then on the way, Facebook came in, LinkedIn came in, and lots of other forums came in, and I put Design India everywhere. And I think all in all, we are about 45,000 members today, because there it's open to anyone to join. And I'll connect dots in the back that I realized in about 2011 that design community actually doesn't have a unified voice in India, Indian design community. Though the design community all over the world is fairly well knit. So I started a magazine called Pool Magazine, targeted at this audience. I think I'll talk about this later. In 2009, I had some differences with my partners at Elephant Design, and I moved on. I moved out to create another company called Indie Design. I still am a stakeholder in Elephant Design, but I have nothing to do with that company. And I started Indie Design, which was 2009, with the focus that I would want to work only on brands. And from the point of view of brands, design everything around it. So first get the brand clarity in the sense, what is it that you're doing in terms of business? And then whether it requires a graphic design, or it requires a product design, it requires service design, UX, or whatever that requires, you work around that. So that has been very, very good. Now, the next layer, which is not in this, is that recently, which is about a month back, Indie Design has been acquired by a tech company based in Hyderabad called Value Labs. So that is the next journey. I need to add that slide. It's not there yet, but I'll talk about this. So within Indie Design, I started various groups called Indie Research, Indie UX. Indie Boom is the digital marketing thing, because people need very, very specialized services. And I thought we had a team which can, and I think this is where that whole thing of design appearing very similar to the customers come in. That when we talk research, we are extremely specialized in research. And when we talk about UX, we're very specialized in UX. So customers or people don't realize that it's actually the same team which is doing all this gamut of things. To each of them, we are experts, including digital. And this is when in 2011, I started, 10 years back, I started a magazine called Tool Magazine. Nice story about this. I was a member of India Design Council. In 2009, Government of India formulated India Design Council and passed one design policy for India in the parliament. So I'm a member, I was member of that first council. Now I'm a member of the third council. I'll talk about the third council later. So in that council, the mandate of the council is to promote Indian design. And I realized that there is no one forum where the work or people, designers are showcased. So I started this magazine which always has a designer on the cover. We used to have a designer on the cover, because now I've expanded that also a little bit more. And then I gave that a digital version, indiepool.com. So indiepool.com is the same content online, and it's open for anyone to come and see. Indiepool.com is also the place where you subscribe to the magazine. So it's what do you say, e-commerce as well as the content site. And then later on, I think 5 years back, I added Pool Awards, which is called India's Best Design Awards, and a one-day event. So everything comes on the indiepool.com. This is while the work is happening. So this is India's Best Design Awards. And some of the work which I did the basic branding for Bajaj Auto, which is in place today, for Bajaj Finserv, for companies called Veroc, Rouge, Venky's, ICICI 1996. I have a lot of stories about these works, but they're pretty old stories now. Very interesting. We did Commonwealth Youth Games, the whole look. And while doing the whole look for the games, we landed up doing the city signage, and this signage, by the way, still exists in the city. So a lot of this work exists all around, and it's a pleasure when you're traveling and when you're moving around and you see how this has become the fabric of our living today. So not just this, there is a lot of other work.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks really great when you see your own work over there, as in it's there out in the city. Yeah.
So this is from the old time. I haven't put the new work, but yeah, lots of that. I've always been, even before the IDEO guys came up with the term design thinking, we always knew that there's something called thinking, right? And when designers are thinking, is design thinking. So innovation, design thinking, culture and business, that's a connect I found post NID. I realized that whole lot of business of innovation and design thinking needs to happen around culture. It for us comes from within. It doesn't come from outside. You don't need to look at Korea. You don't need to look at US. You don't need to look at what's happening outside. There's so much within us which you just need to look in a different direction. Say, how do I apply this knowledge here? It becomes fantastic. And I lectured a lot all over Asia in this. And I have a very, very, very strong theory that as Indians, we have a culture of innovation. We may call it jugaad or whatever, but basically what our thing is that we have that entrepreneurial mindset that we get things done. We don't stop. We will not let anything come in between. While we do something, we may not document it. That's a negative, but we go ahead and do things. And while doing things, we figure out new ways of doing things. So I always say that India I see as like a dynamo. You know, a dynamo is something which is attached to the wheel. So while the wheel is moving, the dynamo is producing the electricity. It doesn't store electricity. What it does is it creates electricity and pass it on to the other parts to move and to give light and to. So India is like that. We do not document. We do not write. We do not create papers. We have a very, very bad history of creating history for ourselves. Okay, it's something which our next generations can learn from. Something which, in my own small way, I'm doing with Pool Magazine and books, because I've also done about 15-20 books so far. I'll talk about them. Whereas the rest of the Asia, if you look at China, look at Indonesia, Vietnam, look at Sri Lanka, these guys have been like batteries actually, not dynamos. They don't create, but they pick up things from other cultures and then store them beautifully. So if you look at it, it's very funny that Indonesia, Bali, Malaysia, the visual culture is Ramayana. The visual culture is completely very Hindu. It's come from India. It's Ramayana. Look at Sri Lanka. Look at Vietnam. Look at Cambodia. It's Buddhist. Okay, so look at China, Tibet, all Buddhist, and completely things imported from India. Things, the seeds of that culture have come from India, and then they've preserved it beautifully. They've taken it ahead, and beautiful work has been done. The same level of conservation and moving ahead we've not done in India. So that's something I always talk about. So wherever I'm going, I'm talking about this quite a lot, and I push people. I keep telling designers, as designers, forget as I feel this is true for everyone, but as designers, it's our responsibility to document, to take pictures, to write, to put our thoughts down, collect these things forever. Few other things happened on the way. I became member of World Economic Forum. There's a World Design Council, which was headed by Tim Brown of IDEO. John Maida was a part of this. So this was my time when I actually got to see those big guys who rule the world of design in the West, very close, up close. We worked together on this council for quite some time. And I very soon realized that if you look at design in the world scenario, the East does not exist. We are not a part of their design thinking. So whatever they write and the theories they put out, it's not keeping us and our realities in place. This is my realization from there. Those guys are very close friends, and we keep discussing this. But somehow the economies are small. Our economies are very, very small. Our productions are so small, it actually doesn't matter to them. And they don't really sit and design or think for us. They don't think for the world also, by the way. They think for their own cultures. I became a member of India Design Council. Then I became a co-host of World Industrial Design Conference in China. Now this has been rebranded as GDIO, Global Design something. Yeah, so I'm a board member on that in China. I haven't been to China for the last 4 months, so don't worry. But I'm glad that China came up with this, and I'm glad that India became a part of that, because I think the tilt in terms of design needs to shift, has shifted to this side, at least in the physical design world. So if you see, the most of the industrial design is not just getting produced in China, it's also getting designed in China. So there are design offices which have 700 designers, 900 designers, 1,500 designers. They might be owned by the Europeans, by the way. Most of the Italian auto design companies have their bases now in China. Most of the classical design companies anywhere in the world operate in China. So now this is the main physical design structure which is happening, and then the UX has come in. US is again taken the tilt away, which was moved to China back to the Europe and US. I'll talk about this later, and how we are back into the same system design world order, which was there earlier. I'm also a professor of practice at Ajinkya DYAP University here. It's a title and I'm very proud of it. I'm a member of the Governing Council of Symbiosis Institute of Design and few others which I've not mentioned here. I've been on jury of many award panels. The best was Cannes. Cannes is traditionally an advertising creative festival which happens in 2008. They included design for the first time as one of the streams, and I was also a jury on that. And this jury was headed by Rodney Fitch, who had started Fitch. So we had a very good team in Cannes in France on this, and very good memories. Yes, so besides that, I mean, all over you can see that Dutch Design Awards and Frankfurt and Tokyo and everywhere. So that's been quite a story, a lot of traveling, lots of meeting people. And I think it's very important for young people to meet people, to learn and go with an open mind and say, okay, he's doing this, what can I do? And one of the things which I do when I travel is I always go and see places where people live, how they live and how they work, their offices. I'm always interested in seeing how they're buying things, how families are living, how what do their schools look like, what do their offices look like. I've been visiting design offices, so right from Continuum to NPK in Netherlands to many Chinese design offices in Tokyo and all that. I'm very interested in that. I feel the workplace can give you a lot of information and teach you a lot of new ways of doing things. So my special interest has been culture and design, and I feel whatever we do, it basically comes from this geography we are in, and that's full of history, right? Very important. Now of course I'm working with the senior executives, and I am on the board of many of the companies, work with really inspirational leaders. This is Rajiv Bajaj, who heads Bajaj Auto. I've been working with Bajaj for last 25 years or even more, since Rajiv came back from his college. Okay, so Pool magazine became the first design magazine from India. I very quickly realized what I was doing was collecting stories of contemporary design as it's happening. I don't write about history of design in that. I publish the work of designers as they're working today. So it's like history in the making. So if I see, like when I open the magazine from 10 years back, it's history, right? And you can see development of, oh, this kind of work is not done like that. So I started compiling those magazines into annuals. So I have come up with 3 annuals so far, but I'm ready with 10 annuals. You can imagine. So I'm like ready in the sense they are print ready. So whenever I have money or somebody comes up and says, Sudhir, all your library we're going to sponsor, I'm going to put this in print. So those
That's pretty wonderful, yeah. And I have the yellow one, so I got the yellow one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's something which I feel somehow the design, I thought this will happen because there's so many design schools now and they need libraries, and this is the only place you can have Indian design work. In fact, I'm ready with the 115 issues of the Pool magazine. So all 115 issues I put together and they are available to libraries to buy. And weird thing is there are design studios in Japan, in China. Colleges have bought this whole thing for their, there's a whole section called Indian design and it's full of Pool magazines. Not in India. Somehow we are very, we'll talk about this. So this is what I like about the Pool magazine. You can see from all over. Many people I know, many people I didn't know. So that's something which made me come in touch with so many people and learn so much. It also did something different from my office. Can you hear me? I see a message saying internet
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, what happened is that usually when designers are looking at somebody's work, we look at that work with a negative mind. We say, ye kiya hai par acha nahi kiya hai, isme ye galat kiya hai. In the sense, we're looking for mistakes in that. Why? Because we have this complex saying, मैं अच्छा designer हूँ, तुम अच्छे designer नहीं हो. So we have this playing in the mind always. What I realized is the moment you have to publish a magazine, so mandate to my team becomes that please find work which we can talk well about. You know, we have to talk good things about that work. We don't talk bad things about the work. So suddenly you start looking at the work and you start saying, look, this guy's done this jewelry and it's so beautiful and it's so detailed, and look at this table and look at this, you know, fabric, and suddenly that mindset changes and you start appreciating things which our designers are doing. And I think it's done a wonderful thing in last 10 years that I feel so enriched with all the work which all our people are doing everywhere. You just need to open up. I think the world is doing that. World is opening up and appreciating. I think we as designers need to appreciate each other's work, which is very, 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 very important. So I'll just show you some pictures. You can see, you know, this guy, he's the owner of Nimrana Hotels. And he's conserved all the old palaces into New. He's not an architect, not a trained architect, but beautiful work. This guy, you know, Shekhar Badwe in Pune, industrial designer, is doing great work in museums. This guy did Reva, he designed Reva. Achyut Pallav, I don't know if you know, beautiful calligraphy work everywhere. Look at this, beautiful people all over doing lovely, lovely work. And these are my books printed so far. So just showing you how it is. The way I did the book, the magazine also is different so that I don't end up spending a lot of money, because not many people buy the magazines. So it becomes an issue. So when we were doing 100 issues, 100th issue of the magazine, we said, let's not do a magazine, let's do it like a book. So this one's done like a book. We've run out of the print completely. And what we did was we crowdsourced issues of design. So we collected 100 issues of design into various categories of awareness and client problems and talent issues and things like that. And this book is done as a 100th issue, and it got launched in Europe and then in India, everywhere. That's my team. And yeah, so we started the awards. Again, awards, because I see a lot of newspapers and business dailies coming out with saying, oh, the best design studio is so and so. And I say, like, how do you know that? You know, they don't even know how to evaluate design. So how do they make it a marketing gimmick, you know, to just award designers, make heroes out of designers. So I said, I seriously want to take this up. And we started a process which is called India's Best Design Studio Awards, studio and projects. And then we included in-house studios also in that. This is a trophy which Abhijit Bansor designed for the last year's award, which we will continue now. And this was the jury last year. So I get international jury. It's online awards. We are opening for this year's awards, I think in another week's time now. And then we have a small event. And I realized that during the event, almost everybody is coming to get the award. You know, and if we don't tell people who's won the award, almost everybody lands up. So we said, okay, let's charge them and create this into a event, and we put some of them on the stage, and it becomes a pool show, right? So these guys then land up sitting and talking to each other about the business of design, issues of design which are beyond design, because I've always believed it doesn't make sense to talk about design to designers. You can talk a little bit more. So it's like a really good get together one day, which happens once a year, of various kind of studio owners. I don't allow students here, because I think students can, they don't need to pay such heavy fees. It happens in a 5-star and all that, but they can see all the things on video later, and professionals need to meet. So we have all kinds of professionals, mostly people who are in my magazine, those, and even otherwise. So I get a lot of new content for the magazine. And what I do is I put people together in a situation where The person who is very well established gets questioned by a person who's not very well established. Okay, so it's like we call these fireside chats. So they're almost like roasting the person, saying तुम्हारा नाम हुआ है लेकिन तुमने किया क्या है, you know, those kind of things, in a very good spirit. So it's very very interesting. You can see them online. They are there on ibdsa.com. Just go to pool show and you will get all the videos. This is indiepool.com where the work is featured of designers, and we are updating this very nicely. Besides that, I also decided that we need to be, while we are in Pune, we need to be integrated to the city of Pune. So this is my third book on Pune city. It's like a guidebook. The first one was a history book. I feel wherever you are, you need to integrate with the local community and do something with that community. Very, very important. So Pune, of course, became, I did this 3 books. Before I came, people used to say Pune is this, Pune is that, but I didn't see a book on Pune which will tell me about that. Now there are many books. So I feel very proud of that. Yes, of course, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. And that's true. We create all the problems as well, right? So this was my first point. I told you to be like a bee. Second is I would say that you need to accept insecurities we have as designers. Very, very important. It's a life learning for me that we as designers are not beyond being human beings. We are human beings and we have our insecurities that many times means pressures as family, as society, mostly as people. So we need to earn, everybody needs to earn, everybody needs to take care of the families, and there's nothing wrong in that. Nothing wrong saying I'm doing such large lofty things but I'm not really making money with that. So I think unless you accept your insecurities, and my insecurity basically has been finances for a long time, and I'm quite upfront, and I said I coined something long time back, said first you need to survive as a designer. So do whatever needs to be done to survive as a designer. Don't feel sad, don't feel bad, survive. Once you survive as a designer, then you can move on to doing good for society, good for people, good for everybody around. So basically you read this all over now on Instagram. Take care of yourself first, very, very important. Then you can move on and do things for others. You need to keep your sting very, very intact. Now, if you coming back to the bee, bees have a sting. You know, try and touch a bee. Try trouble a bee. What it'll do? It'll sting you, right? What is our sting? As designers, I have always said it's this thinking, it's the knowledge, and it's the skills, which is our sting. So we may talk big, we may do whatever, but if we lose our sting, we lose our control. We need to continue to expand our knowledge, continue to practice our skills, and especially true for students. You know, many students come and say, sir, I'm very good in thinking, I'm not very good in doing. So I keep saying, first become good in doing. You know, first have a very good sting and then do other things. Remember that elephants have 2 sets of teeth. What they show is very good to people. It's to look at, and what they eat with is something very different. It's very true with designers also. We may come across as a very glamorous, exciting profession, but the truth is that inside there are lots and lots of insecurities. Right now, education is an issue. Job is a real issue. Competence is another big issue. I mean, there's so many things which we need to accept as our insecurities. I told you about Design India. Design India started in 2002, and last month I changed the name of Pool magazine to Design India, so that I could connect back to the community in the same way, because Pool was becoming a bit esoteric.
Before you start move ahead on Design India, I just need to I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So UX in India is like, it's almost 20 years it has been there in India, if I am not wrong. But still, if we compare, like, so I work with an MNC, and we have got designers in there in US, and we have got designers in other parts of the world. Yet like we doesn't fit in, like you said, that we doesn't fit in the bill of those kind of Tim Browns and the John Madas of the world, or the designer world, basically. What's the reason behind it? I mean, we are not. It's not like that we are not doing something which they are doing. I've seen that they. I've seen that there's a like there's a divide over here. They all the good works are being done over there in the US. Then when they're done with that, they'll pass on the ball to us. Now play with it, uh, and then they'll say, "Okay, you ruined it. Now give it the ball to back to us." And something kind of thing, some of these kind of things are happening. I'm just like clueless about like why is this happening?
Yeah, I agree with you. Completely agree with you. And I can only give you my opinion on this, which may not be right, or probably might be right. My opinion is that UX is a part of a larger tech world today. UX is not a standalone industry. It's a part, it's a service to the tech industry, really. And tech industry, then you need to see how the tech industry is positioned. Tech industry, very recently I was traveling, and in a lounge I was listening to 3 professors from US who were meeting the head of tech industry here, and it was fantastic because I was just joining a tech industry. Right? The fact is, what they say is the tech industry in India, if you look at the tech industry in Europe and US and tech industry in India, what is the role that the tech industry in India is playing? We're not playing a leading role. We are component manufacturers to the world. Remember that. we are not creating tech. We are, the tech is created, thought of, created in the West, and then we fill in the components here. That's the job the tech industry is doing. And as a subset of the tech industry, we are doing exactly, in UX, we're doing exactly the same thing. We're not going beyond that. Having said that, it doesn't mean that the things won't change. Things will change. I see already there are bits and pieces. Things have started changing. The Indian tech industry is realizing how important design is, how important UX is. And I think probably in the design area today, besides architecture, if you leave fashion, architecture out, the largest employer probably is the tech industry. Okay, so there is a huge movement of upgrading design within tech happening in India. It's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a transition time for us. So I believe, and we are at a very right time right now to set the direction, because it's while we are transitioning, we need to set our sights and say, okay, this is what we need to do as design for tech, as UX. This is what we need to do, and let's move on to that direction. Let's move education in that direction. Let's move our young people into that direction. And I think we can do a lot in that. It's going to take time. I don't see that. I have been having some interactions with, like I told you, with all over the world. People don't take Indians very seriously. I mean, if you, even if otherwise you said a few years back, I've heard this comment in conferences saying design, and there's design in India, really? Those kind of things. And design has been in India for the last 50 years. But the fact is, look around you where you stay. How many people are aware of design? Forget UX, because UX is the next step to design. So they're not even aware of design. And whose responsibility is that? That they get to know about design. So I think, not to feel disheartened, we are just beginning. We're just starting.
So there your video.
Yeah, I think his internet got some issue or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what he's saying is actually right. But and to add to his point, I guess we need to start respecting our own designers, because I've seen so many times that people, like in my company as well, and the companies that I've worked with, they still, like worship designers of the US and Italy or whatever. But I don't know, like we are also doing some good work over here, and the education is also good.
Actually, I also have something to add on to it, actually. So 2 years back, I was writing a blog on what is design, And for that, I started interviewing my college colleagues. I was in second year in NIFT college. My course is communication design. So I started asking people around me in design college, according to you, what is design? So in our college, the kind of students that you get is a mixture of people from fashion design course, people from textile design, from communication design.
Sorry. I think I lost the.
Yeah, there was some network issue, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was actually adding on to the point that we were discussing on. So 2 years back, I'm a student right now. I'm in my final year. I'm a student of communication design from NIFT Bangalore. Right now, I'm interning at UI UX designer in Wipro. So 2 years back, I was writing an article on what is design. So for this, I started interviewing my colleagues in college. That according to you, what is design? And started making them note down the keywords for me. So the major words that used to come from design students to me was design is patterns, design is aesthetics. None of them were like design is problem solving, it's functionality, it's a way of thinking. None of them in design college were able to explain me what exactly is design for them. For them, it was just aesthetics and just beauty.
Yeah, exactly. This is the common, I guess, common information among people. And in fact, like, so I've graduated, like I graduated from IIT Delhi in Master Design. So when I got into design, my idea was similar about design, because I was coming from mechanical industry. Then I joined design. Actually, for me, it was like color and all. But then when I went to design college, and the whole perspective changed.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
So I would like to add something to this. My name is Abhishek. I'm from Kerala State Institute of Design. Earlier I was working as an engineer, and then I kind of left my job and decided to do my post graduation in design, in the product design. So there are obviously as an engineer also I was solving problems. As a designer also I was solving problems. But my faculty, I was very fortunate to have a very interesting faculty, and they told us one thing, that you're solving every job is kind of problem solving, but in design you have two more things. You have three more things. You have creativity, you have empathy, and you have context. So if you just think about solving problems without these, then you're not a designer. You have to consider all these three factors. There are other factors also, but then these are the empathy, creativity, and context. If you don't consider them, then you are not a designer. That was a point that was kind of drilled into our heads.
Yeah, I think it's a big question. It's not a question which we can, sort of come to a conclusion. There is no definition of design which we agree to. Even designers don't. So that book I was telling you, 100 Issues of Design, has 100 definitions of design. You should see that, and it's all with. If I give you
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I think again some network issue.
Hello. Yes.
I think we lost him.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Meanwhile, Abhishek, yeah, actually that was a very valid point. Even I heard the same thing from my faculties when I was back in college. Like, only when you add the steps of your empathy and the context and the other one, then only it makes sense, and then only we can say like this is the steps that we follow to solve a problem through design, through the process of design. Yeah, it does.
Design is an approach which solves the problem. Actually, everything is just problem solving, but design is an approach where we visually and technically and every aspect is taken care of. That's why this is an approach of problem solving.
Like we have, I think one subject we have is called environmental exposure, and we are kind of asked to go to one community, ideally stay with them or at least observe them for close quarters, try to understand how they live. And so we had gone to one place where people kind of a tribal, not tribal exactly, but more like a semi-tribal settlement kind of thing. And so the teacher came and told us, okay, what did you do really there? And did you live with them? He said, no, we observed them. Okay. But then what did you really observe? Could you feel what they were feeling? And then we were like, okay, not really sure. And then he asked him, you have taken all photos. All photos are from the top. I mean, one person was sitting down and working, and we took photos, and photos were from the top angle. Well, that automatically shows your problem. You have to go down to their level. You have to just bend down. If a person is sitting down and working, why are you taking from standing up position? What is the message you are sending? So the next time we went to do something like that, if a person is, if we are just observing one shoemaker repairing a shoe, we are requested, just go down, bend down, and take the photo at his eye level, so that you can see from his perspective.
So that's exactly where we say, like, you have to be in the user's shoes if you are trying to solve a problem for the user.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you can start from your ground zero whenever you like start any process or anything. So it should start from ground zero, like
Definitely.
yeah. So then you can reach the actual solving the problem. So
Yeah, so meanwhile, guys, Sudhir just pinged me like he's internet got some bad connection. He's trying to connect back. It might take some time, so I think we can continue our discussion till the time he joins back. And yeah, and introduce each other maybe. Yes, yeah, perfect timing for a introduction for ourselves. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so hey guys, my name is Rohit. So I have done my master's in design from IIT Delhi, and I post-graduated in 2014. I'm a mechanical design and mechanical engineering graduate, and I have done my graduation in 2008. After that, I worked for 4 years in that industry. Then I got bored, and obviously, I mean, I have a little creative side in me, and then that was like really mundane work in mechanical industry. So I moved out. I pursued design. Uh, yeah, of course, like I said, when I moved into design, it was completely different for me. And when I studied design, the whole perspective changed. The problem solving thing then came to the existence. Like, okay, if you're problem solving within a context like that, like you said, Abhishek, like, so context is always there. I mean, context was when there as well when you are doing this applied mathematics, like two trains are coming together towards each other, and when at the speed. So context is there, obviously, but why are they coming towards each other? So that's the other problem that you have to think about. It's not in mathematics. It's called analysis, like where lot of different variables come in. And design is, that's why I guess people are really, I don't know. I mean, like, it's not that defined kind of thing, because it's quite subjective and quite personal. Design is always personal, because if you have seen that how design is evolved, it didn't came up like a course. Okay, it came up from somewhere else. It is a mixture of things. Like, people were designing something else first, then they came into designing something else, then they come to design something else, and that too happened when they were doing something else. Like, there were some calculation, and they started thinking in a different direction altogether. So this was then when I realized that, okay, it is really a bigger thing to explore. So even after post graduating, I didn't stick to one field. My idea was to explore everything that comes under design. So I've done tangible product design, I have done branding, I have done uh, like uh, toy design and all like that. And after that, I moved to UX, obviously, because at one side you have your passion, and other side you have your bills that you need to pay. So and unfortunately in India, jobs are not that well paying in tangible design. It is coming to that point that we will, and that's why I said that we still worship designs from abroad, because even general public, they have this kind of attitude, like, okay, India, design in India, okay, it must be class level C or D, but when something comes designed from US or Italy or Korea, Japan, eh, they have that kind of like visual library set up already for them, where they are visually enhanced, because they are living that life. But in today's era of internet and all, the the connectivity is so good, you can actually generate that kind of visibility, and you can design good things in India as well. You just need to keep yourself in that kind of environment where you keep on getting all the good ideas from the world, so that you enhance yourself, because there is nothing called natural or original. It's all like you have collected some data, then you join them, and then you create something else. It's so innovation doesn't happen like that. Like invention doesn't happen every day, but you can innovate on existing design. So that's what my take on it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Great thought, Rohit. Thanks for sharing. Meanwhile, we have Sudhir back with us. Hi, Sudhir. Welcome back. Yeah, we can see the screen. Yes.
Sudhir, you are at mute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Sudhir. Can you hear
Yeah.
us?
Hello.
Yeah, I think you were on mute.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So I'm saying, in fact, for today's call, I collected 3 internet. I have a Jio, I have Airtel, and I have BSNL.
Oh,
All of them.
that's great. By the way, which one is working right now?
Right now, I think I'm on Airtel.
Airtel, okay. This side Airtel is also.
BSNL gave up, and Jio is giving me some signal saying, boss, you need to recharge. So I'm saying, okay, so let me go ahead on this, and let's do one thing. Let me finish this presentation, because I think it's meaningful in a flow, and then let's get into a discussion.
Right.
And in case I miss out or completely lose out, I want to tell you that I'm very happy to be here, and I wish we can, if we can't finish it today, we should be able to finish it sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what I was telling you is some other gyan that as designers, we are not alone. We are a jhund. That's how the bee is. Bee is never alone. You will never see a madhumaki flying alone. One madhumaki coming into your house, be sure there are others following. Though people will not be able to make out a difference from one to the other, for them from a distance, because so much knowledge is not there. They will confuse you with one another. Second is we need to make a very clear distinction between professionals and students, which in India we're still not doing it. And what I mean to say by that is that many professionals they keep thinking they're still students, and we keep approaching projects from that point of view, which is wrong. There is a lot which we go through as student to internalize the processes. The idea is not actually to go through those exercises. Those exercises are supposed to teach us something, ingrain something in our head, so that we start practicing that as professional. So a lot of time discussions into adult professional scenario are extremely similar to the discussions you have in student scenarios, which is something which I've always felt that because of that, we're not able to create a knowledge gap or a knowledge bank for professionals. It's okay. Students have a very good system and ecosystem within a college. There are teachers, there are professors, they can always discuss things. Timelines is another thing. They don't really have to focus on the outcome of the projects, because they need to learn the process very, very well. When it comes to professionals, your process is something which has to end into a result. So result becomes very, very important. So I think that differentiation is lost between students and professionals. So many times when I'm hiring, I find that people are struggling with this concept of, am I a student or am I a professional? Should I focus on the process or should I focus on the results? So that's something which we need to take care of. And I expect this to be done by the education community. What they should do is very clearly, by the time a student is going out into the market, drill into him that whatever you learned, leave it here now. and go and start learning how the professionals behave into that world. Many other things like discipline, order, ethics. It's not one thing. These are three different things. And we need to understand as professionals meanings of what discipline means, what order means, that means what priorities means, and what ethics mean. I've written a lot about this in my blogs. You can see this on LinkedIn or on my blog itself, in various editorials also. And I will very briefly tell you, discipline is the discipline we have. It's the self-discipline we have of doing something. Order is when we understand what is to be done when. Not everything needs to be done at the same time. So that order is very, very important. Ethics is something which actually include the larger community. It could be society, it could be the planet. The whole issue of sustainability for me is an ethics issue today. It's not a issue of designers or something. It's a social ethics issue which we need to look at that. I talked to you about India Design Council. It was formed in 2009 for the first time. There's third council happening right now. The third council has done 2-3 very major things, which I thought I'll mention to you. One is there is a design education quality mark which has come out. It has been rolled out, but I think nobody has yet enrolled into that. So the program is still happening. The second larger program is the Chartered Designers of India, which has been rolled out. There is CDI. I can send you a link later on, or you can just go online and check on India Design Council, Chartered Designers of India. There's a website where you can go and enroll and get a stamp for yourself, and you can call yourself a chartered designer if you qualify. This is to help industry and the government make a distinction between professionals and non-professionals. It's a very new program. It's just been rolled out. And with time, it will become stronger. But I think this is something which will go on to create distinction in the marketplace from being a professional designers and being a hobbyist. The biggest problem I have faced can you hear me? I see. Hello?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I'm just pinging the links in the chat so that everyone can
Yeah,
access it.
I got that link. Yes, thanks.
Sudhir, I think he is disconnected.
Just now.
Yeah, I think he got disconnected again.
Yes, sorry again.
Yeah, hi. Yes.
Am I on mute?
No, we can hear you. So you have to share the screen, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just do that. I was just changing the net again.
So Sudhir, along with your talk, I am just sharing the links with everyone in the chat. So that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah, because I think it is important for people to log on and see. That's also because we need to make our community stronger. And once the community is stronger, we can put in some common ethics. That's when we can put out a behavior outside saying Indian designers are of this quality. And that's something which we need to do. Okay, so these are the ways you can link on to Design India on various things. Okay, that is something about. Yes. So something which I teach other people, students very often, is that don't get scared of confusion. Confusion is very, very good. I like the word confusion because I think we work the best when there's confusion. And you must have felt it also. When your customer or your boss is very clear about what he wants, they use you as a as a skilled person. They don't depend on your mind, right? So only when there's confusion, there is requirement for design for providing clarity. I also feel that we are probably the only profession in the world which can provide clarity out of confusion. So when situations are not very clear, there are multiple options, ye bhi kar sakte hain, wo bhi kar sakte hain, should we do this, how to do it, all that, we are the people who can create a very linear thread out of all that and present it to people and say, this is what you need to do. And I think that's a skill which comes very early to designers, and we should catch on to that and capitalize on that. Another thing which I believe is less is not more. I mean, it's advertising line that less is more. It's not true. What that means is work a lot, do a lot of things. Don't say I will do one thing and I will do it well, because you will not do one thing and you will not do it well. So it's always good to do many things together, have many options. I mean, simply I say, when, for example, we are creating logos, just get into it and create 500 concepts. You may not show it to the client. You may not go and show to your boss saying, these are the so much work I've done. You never need to do that. But for yourself, you need to have gone through all that. Alternatives is very, very important. Less is not more. You need to work more. Less is less. More is more. I think we need to stick to that. And believe that we are all the same. So it's me or you or somebody else in the room. We will not do very different things. That's another thing. Because culturally, we are the same people. The difference is in the details. The difference is into extremely minor detailing. Or I think culturally we are not very different. Another thing which a lot of designers do is, I'm going to do this. I hear this so often when people come and say, I'm going to launch this. I'm going to write a blog. I say, why talk about it? Just first go and do it, and then start talking about this. This I realized with the magazine. Oh, it's gone again.
No, not it.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying, go and start doing things. When I was doing the magazine, I did not want to talk to anyone about the magazine till I had done a few issues. And very frankly, I still feel the same way. The magazine is not yet ready to report, but I think I've done 100 issues which have some value into that. But I hear from people saying, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do this. If I do this, then this will happen. I think बहुत चिल्ली वाली बात हो जाती है. All
Sudhir, your voice is not clear.
I mean, okay. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do.
Yeah, now
See, what I would.
Now I think it's much better, Sudhir. Yeah.
Okay. So I've been with IF organizing team for last 4 years, and we organized this award it used to be organized in Hamburg. From this year, it's in Berlin.
Hello. Sudhir, your voice is not clear. If we could switch on to audio only, then if the net is slow.
Okay, will it help as an
Yeah, it will help actually if
help.
we all switch off
Okay,
video.
yeah. Then guys, I would request everyone to switch off the video maybe, and I will inform same to Sudhir also.
For Sudhir specifically.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Your
Hi,
video is
Kailash.
on, Kailash.
No, I think it's for Sudhir mostly because that would affect his internet connection if I'm not wrong. So I have conveyed the same to him. He is trying to join back.
Yeah, only Sudhir can share his video and screen, but
Yeah.
other than it's streaming on his net, that's why it's slowed down this process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no. If we all close our videos, then the downloading speed will also get affected.
Okay.
So
So
it
let's
will be
try
helpful.
that option once, maybe. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
try
yeah.
switching off the videos for
Video,
everyone.
yes.
I will check if I have the
Yeah, I'm there.
option of.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Hi, Sudhir. We cannot see you, so I think the video thing is turned off right now.
Your screen is being started. Oh.
Yeah, video is switched off. Yeah.
Go ahead. So the has a very good history of design. That's about 60 years. You should check their website at least. It's called World Design Guide. IF World Design Guide. So beautifully done awards. Okay, all bees are same. Like I told you that, but know the difference between the honey and the buzz. There are bees which create honey, and there are bees which are creating buzz. Both are important, but be clear about this difference. And finally, you need to believe that the world is beautiful as it is. We don't need to really change the world. We just need to make people's life simpler into this world. So I have these 5 very clear learnings from this. Is have a sting. You need to figure out what is your sting. Is it presenting well? Is it the skill? Is it the reaching to the problem very quickly? It's to bring the clarity. What is your sting? um, Remember, size is very, very important for us in designers. The scale, we need to work together. A lot of us need to work into this. We need to belong to a jhund, that is a hive, that we need to teach each other. We need to grow with each other like they grow, and we need to continuously put out the buzz. So unless there's a sound around us that we are designers and we do this, we do that, people won't know us, and the way the scenario is happening. And fifth is, of course, the honey. We need to reach the honey, that whatever we set out to do, we need to figure out a way. What does Indian design stand for, and what do we do as designers? So these are my links. I mean, you can, of course. I think that's it in terms of presentation. We can get on with the discussion now. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Sudhir, for the wonderful presentation. This is really interesting. And then let's open the forum for everyone to share their questions with him.
Yeah.
And yeah, great.
One thing I didn't talk about is my transition into the corporate world now. I've always, and I'm laughing and I'm telling this to everyone that this is my first job. I just got my first job, and very frankly, I'm thrilled about it, because I see the kind of resources the tech industry has, and as an entrepreneur, I've always worked on very shoestring budgets and bootstrapping everything, and absolutely nothing. And I think what you can do with resources is scale. That's something which you can reach, and I'm very happy about this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And that's really inspiring. That's really inspiring. Yeah. Great. Okay. Yeah. Somebody was asking something. You can go
Yeah,
ahead, please. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So going back to the line that you said that professionals are different than student. Okay, so now since you are also going into this corporate world, and it's quite common over there. It's like, it is what is expected from us. Like, you should be very result oriented, and I'm personally like very process oriented still. I don't know why, uh, but I'm not able to get into like that zone, because I somehow believe that if someone is not good with the process, they cannot come up with a good result, or a result that would be sure enough. It is all again then if I'm always into that result-oriented mode, it would be my idea against some other person idea who will be coming up with different results. But which solution is the best solution or the most practical solution? So I guess unless somebody has gone through a process, we cannot claim that thing.
No, so don't mistake to, what I said was not that you don't have to have a process. The focus has to shift from focus to the result, from process to the result when you become a professional. When you're a student, it is important to learn the process. And to learn the process, what we do is, while presenting, we are very transparent with the process. We explain the process. We get everybody, at least from the jury and everybody onto the line saying, this is what I did, then I did this, then I did this. This is fine. That's perfect. And that's what you need to know. See, I'm comparing this with medical students. When they are learning how to open up a heart, they have to go through a process, right? Otherwise, you can't open a heart. You have to go through a process. You have to first sanitize the area and then take the right knife and right pressure and do all this and fine. And you have to go through. And there are people who would be giving you marks depending on, yes, you did you tick all the boxes or not. But finally, what matters is that you are able to operate on the heart properly.
Yeah. So
right.
True.
So I'm not saying don't do the process. That's a wrong take from my talk. I'm saying do the process, but please focus on the result. Please focus on the result, because if you start focusing on the process and say, I actually don't care what the result is. No, that is being a student. And it was okay when, it was maybe 20 years back, but now you are a person who should quickly move on to showing the benefits of the result and how the result works and different kinds of results which you can get. That's the differentiation I'm making.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
I would also like to add to the point, when we are result oriented, we have a definite path and we less digress towards any distraction, and keeping a goal in mind always helps, and process the process helps to replicate further and scale in a way.
नहीं, कैलाश वो ऐसा है जैसे हम लोग खाना बना रहे हैं. If you're cooking the food, and if my focus, I can't cook a food unless I have a recipe in mind, right? So you have to have the process. All I'm saying is, instead of an external process, it becomes an internalized process when you're a student. You still do the cooking, but you have to then focus कि खाना कितना tasty बना है. When you focus on the process and not on the final food, वो नमक थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया तो चलेगा. Because I'm learning the process. I've learned when and how the salt has to be added. But when you are a professional, नहीं चलेगा. Namak also has to be right. The result has to be very perfect.
Yeah.
Now see there is a distinction between. I'm not saying that you need to know the result beforehand and then don't go through the process. That's a wrong approach.
Okay.
Right? So what that means is that you actually need to hone up the process so bloody well that it becomes your second nature, that you will go through that process.
Yes.
Exactly. So true. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks.
Sudhir, I have a question here.
Yes, Hari.
Yes. So my question is, I absolutely agree with you about the difference between being a student and being a professional and being result oriented. But when you are talking about user-centered design and iterative design, so how do you define your result at the start of the project? And are you open to change? Are you open to modifying your target?
No.
Your result?
No, you understood.
Because we are in iterative
you never
design.
have the result in the start of the project. If you're a professional designer, the result is the outcome of the process. You never have the result in the beginning. How will you have the result in the beginning? What you can have is an idea of what that result should be doing for you. The result needs to be put into a parameter, and you know that this result has to work for this, 10 things, and it needs to fit into that. That's fine. That's a part of the process. But no, you don't need to know the result. In fact, you will not know the result. What happens is, a lot of times the process becomes very intuitive. It becomes, you look at it and you know immediately what needs to be done, right? And you can become very quick. The mind actually churns that process so quickly that you are out with the result, and it might be okay. That's perfectly all right. I'm a big fan of intuitive design as well. Many times you look at the problem and you know the solution, but it doesn't mean that your mind has not gone through the process. You are trained. If you're a trained designer, you go through that process, and the training is supposed to do that, make the process intuitive.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, Abhishek.
Sir, the point you raised now just reminded me of a book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. A book
Okay.
called Blink. And in that, actually, what you said exactly the same thing. Like those who are experts in a certain field, they look at something and they can immediately figure out which direction to go. And
He must
for
have
us
heard
students,
my lecture somewhere. I'm very sure about that.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, but I think it is only natural, that, see, we say that when you see, when you're walking and you see there's a puddle on the ground, then you jump over it and you go.
Yeah.
You remember when you are going with children, you have to teach them, it's a puddle, don't step your foot inside, jump like this, over that. But when you're adult, you will not even think how many times in a day you do that.
Yes, true, very true.
So my problem is actually that when we don't grow up and we're not focusing on the result, we keep putting pressure on the process as if process itself is going to give you a result, which is wrong. And then we feel that our customers and our bosses and our clients will be so impressed with the process that they will not care about the result. No, I think it's our responsibility that we need to care about the result. Definitely go through the process. That's the only difference I'm making. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Sudhir, because even in most of the corporate world, they don't understand about the process. They are just focused on the result. Suppose if a manager gives some work, he don't want us to do all the process. He is just focusing on the result, right? So whatever process you follow, that doesn't have any problem with the manager. He just wants the result.
That's fine. That's absolutely, I think, within the game. He should do that, right?
Yes.
When we go to the doctor.
And at the end is, is what output is the important. How you give, which process you apply, doesn't matter. There are different processes nowadays. So at the end output, how good the output is.
Yes. So what that also means is that we should keep trying out different processes. We should not stop ourselves from learning new things, learning new ways.
Yes.
Maybe something else teaches you to reach process better or present your result in a better way. Yeah, many things.
Yeah, what I found is, like, in different project we automatically come up with different process sometimes.
Right.
So sometimes even with we don't even like apply some process of UX, but we come up with really good output. So it happens sometimes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe because in industry and in college as well, we were never taught to evaluate our design. I mean, like, you're done with the process, you're coming with the result, but the interesting part is in analyzing your result as well. Like even in the industry as well, as I can see that not many industry are like they're evaluating their output. Like they're not even calculating the usability, or like this is a really new term for them, like SUS and NPS and all. And not every companies are doing that. So I guess we have to build that culture in the student as well. Like whenever you're done with the result, don't stop there and iterate on it. While you go to your user again, you go to your target group, and then show them that what you've created, and ask them that is it working or not.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I think our education system, and see, the problem is that most of the design schools follow the same line of teaching. There are not many different ways of teaching students, right? And I think a lot of teachers themselves are uneducated. They don't know. No, that's true. I mean, a lot of faculty is a misfit. Because they didn't find a job in the industry, they go and start teaching because it's a job for them, right? And they're not teaching out of passion. So that does create a lot of problem, because they'll end up. That's why it's very important for parents and teachers to understand that it's not the brand, it's the teachers which is what is going to make a difference into what you learn. So it's very,
Correct.
very important. And even though today you have online and all that, it's the teachers which are very, very important. So I think
Yeah,
we, as responsible
yeah,
professionals,
definitely, Sudhir. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like those who are teacher or faculty and those after that come to the professional world, that a big kind of difference. Like they swimming into that pond or kind of thing, then come to suddenly in the sea. So
yes,
this kind of thing is the student are facing. So my question is how like we can create a something, or we can initiative something so that all designers are we can take him to the under one umbrella kind of thing. Like one thing I really like, you create like that magazine and that forum and blog. This is
yeah,
also a
yeah,
very helpful. But something, any
yeah.
initiative can we take from the ground level for like for the institution level, or those who are coming to the professional life, like
So
we can.
I told you for the design council, for example, is starting something called DEQM, Design Education Quality Mark, where they will evaluate the infrastructure as well as the faculty, and give some kind of rating to the design schools. But I can tell you that it's still going to take some time. It's not going to happen immediately. But the professionals out in the market already, there is Chartered Designers of India, must try and log in there. And I think some kind of distinction will come. But the fact is, we are such a big country. We are I don't know, people keep saying 3 billion people, right? And if you actually look at the number of graduate designers we have, and if you count out the architects and the fashion designers and interior designers and those, actually there are about 10,000 designers in India. Can you believe it? 10,000. So with that number, I mean, what change are you going to make? So it's, on one hand, there's a very drastic ramping up of education which is needed. On the other hand, you actually need a very drastic ramping up of the basic design education which needs to go to the school level. So don't depend on a few design schools to teach design, but you need to create design as a attitude, as a way towards life, which starts with the school education. And I think that's where responsibility comes for few of us as designers, professional designers who are vocal, who can write, articulate. We should use every forum possible for us to spread the message that design means this, or design should be done like this, or this is how design should be taught. Push the design schools into getting better faculty. Ourselves go and teach whenever there's a possibility, not shy away from there. So we need to do whatever is possible to be done, right?
Correct. Yeah, thanks.
Otherwise, we have half-baked designers. People who just get up and start behaving like designers, and industry cannot make a difference between वो designer है कि नहीं है. And then when the result is not good, they start blaming all the designers, saying everybody is bad. There is no
Correct.
good
They blame the whole
in India.
community kind of thing. Like, आपको ये नहीं आता.
Absolutely. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, you're right actually. And so, what's your take on Sudhir on this? You must have like noticed that there are so many, like design schools have opened up. Not design schools, even like who are like giving these 3-month courses or 2 months courses, like crash courses in UX design. And so these are like, I don't know. I mean, like these are really money minting institutes which are not even caring about the quality of education that they're giving. Like in 2 months, what are you going to teach a designer? There are people who are doing 2 years courses and all, to become a good designer, and they are like saying, okay, we'll make you a UX designer. And even the people who are joining those places are not even, they least bother about all the design thing, but they are like mostly focused on like, क्या मुझे इसके बाद job मिल जाएगी? Should I? I've taught those people. I was a teacher in these kind of institutes for 1 year. I was doing it part time, but and so I was so disheartened by this thought that I never wanted to go back, and I quit all those things. So because I don't know, I mean, like, and they're depleting the like quality of designers. As I can see, the designers who are like now, so I worked with people who are like graduates from IDC and IIT Delhi, IIT Guwahati, and all NIDs, and they are the people who have like graduated earlier. They were really good in in the design thinking. Their our observation power is really, really good. But now I see people who call themselves UX designers, and they are just not. So I really get disheartened with that.
See, there is, I think you said it, you're very right. Design education is a big business today, and it's probably the most lucrative business. The average design fees in a design school with some kind of name is I think anything between 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs, right, per year. Education, which if you see, engineering is much less and everybody else is much less. So this, plus you really don't know what you have to teach. So as long as you put the name design and the students are coming and parents know how to make a difference, it's a very easy way to make money as design education. So one is that which is happening. Second is there is a lot of requirement of labor into our industry. Labor matlab in our tech industry requires UX labor. I call them UX labor. This 2-month, 3-month courses are actually producing skilled labor. So there are engineers and accountants and people who have done something, and probably because of the saturation not getting a job, they acquire new skills and they can turn around these kind of projects. And there's actually nothing wrong in that. I mean, as long as we recognize for what it is and they are fulfilling a requirement into the market, because there are not enough designers. Now it comes down to the quality of designers from the other colleges which we are talking about, IITs, NID, IDCs, NIFTs. The problem is, even in these schools, the quality is variable between one student to another student. There's no standardization. So you realize in the market that if these colleges themselves have such a huge variation of output, that variation also includes those skilled labor finally, So the problem with the industry is that they are not able to figure out a designer, when he says I'm a designer, whether he's a designer or not a designer. Whom do you call a designer? So it's a problem of a identity. We all are going through that right now, right? I also believe it's a transition. It's not something which is going to stay very long. So that's why I said CDI is one way which will very clearly make a distinction if you are a designer or not a designer. Within CDI, then there would be different levels of designers which will be qualified. So industry will basically go for that standardization, say, okay, this guy has done a 2-month course, he fits in here. This guy has done a 4-year course, he fits in here. But then they need to probably pass some kind of certification further. Because right now, frankly, many times even I'm confused. I see output from a 4-year educated designer and I find it's completely bad. And I see a output from a 2-month trained engineer and it's fantastic. So, there is no standardization right now on which you can base anything right now. Exactly. It's so person driven at the moment. It's on your own. So I basically go by passion. If the person has a passion to learn new things beyond what is prescribed, he's a good designer for me. So and it doesn't matter if he's young or old, or if he's open to learning, he's good. If he is not open to learning and he will do, no, this is what we did in the course and this is what I've been told and this is the process you have to do, you realize that this is actually not a designer. He's closed. He's not learned what design is probably. But I think overall scenario, macro scenario, we have a issue. Macro scenario, we don't have enough designers. Micro scenario, we don't have enough talent. So वो दोनों है. And I think we in tech industry, and I see this, we are struggling with that. There has to be the correct right type of design mentorship which gives you space to grow as designers. Then there has to be right amount of training and skills and knowledge which comes, and then there have to be right amount of challenges which are thrown at these designers, which is also very important, so the designers actually grow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm all up for passion. I'm truly, in sync with that passion thing. But unfortunately, the passion doesn't come with a degree. And
That's true. Very true.
And I guess like we should understand, like, as a designer, we are design practitioners, and we are not, like we're always learning. We should always be learning more.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, and because when I interact with my manager, he's so good in, he has so much experience, and when he told me these things, like, okay, I was totally alien to all this stuff, but now I know them. So it's like a design mentorship is also required in the industry.
Right.
At least now, since we are talking about this point, I have recently come across a situation where a person who did not have a 4-year education was better than the person who had it. So this is the case. This recently happened in my office in Wipro, where I'm interning. So this guy is just 10th pass, and he is a vendor at Wipro, and like his people like his work, but they cannot make this guy a full-time employee just because he is not graduate and he is not 12th pass also.
Sakshi, there is, you need to take this with a pinch of salt. It's quite possible that within one scenario, now in 4 years, actually people go through a lot. Yeah. And chances are that this guy is probably not performing at the right time or at the right level. It's quite a possibility of that. And the person who's actually not trained as a designer is probably a perfect fit into one particular situation which you're talking about. Maybe. In a broader scenario, I'm generally saying this. I don't really mean to demean anyone, but I'm saying I still see this profession very much as a doctor's profession. I mean, there are doctors who can look at you and tell you what's wrong with you, and they give you one tablet and you go back and say, "Arey wah, mera problem solve ho gaya." Right? 1 minute, I need to close the door. Yeah, and then there is a doctor who might give you something, struggle, may not fit you properly, might not treat you properly, but he might be very good in with 100 other patients. Yeah. So there are situations which I think these are not really a canvas painting situations, but exceptions happen everywhere. There are exceptionally talented people who are not educated. This is the truth, and we find them in almost every field, right? And then there are people who go through education and don't reach anywhere. वो भी होता है. But generally, my reading is an educated designer is definitely better than a non-educated designer onto a larger canvas. सबके क्वेश्चन खत्म हो गए.
Sudhir, you told about, like, you see that the field kind of a doctor field, so I want to add one thing, like it's a kind of that experience you have like that. Some doctor is very like degree, they have many degrees, but their medicine is somehow not working for some patients. Right. But right. Some compounder, they become a doctor. I mean, like local kind of compounder, they over the time they practice lot of things. 1 or 2 medicines for that particular problem it's solving actually. So this is the thing I actually relate to that thing.
Mr. Ajit, another thing, look at this. You will, agar common cold hai na, khasi ho rahi hai.
Correct.
you will not mind trying anybody's medicine. Even if your dad will tell you something, you'll go and take that medicine. Chalega.
Correct.
You know, it's not a life-threatening thing.
Yeah.
But if my heart is to be opened up and some valve is to be changed inside, I would rather go to a guy who's a trained doctor and not to a compounder.
Correct.
Right? So even if the compounder might be very good at treating a common cold.
Correct.
So that is the difference. See, a society will grow only on the basis of formal education.
Yeah.
As a community, we will not grow on the base of talent alone. We need talent. It's not saying that we don't need talent. We need talent. But it will grow on the back of a very solid foundation of education, which is very, very important. So we cannot overlook that. But be aware that yes, we can use people. See, that's why I'm saying that's where these skilled people are. This 2-month, 3-month courses are working very well, and there's nothing wrong in that. But if you start giving them projects which are actually meant to, they require deeper learning or probably more width of understanding, it won't happen.
Correct.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Guys, I think we have 10 more minutes. Any other questions?
So what is the future of design?
I'll charge you for it, man. I have no clue what is the future of design. But
I was a UX designer. Now I am an LX designer, learning experience designer. Now they are moving to AR and VR, saying that AR and VR will take towards designing path. So I don't know where they are taking it. I have to move as per the company because I love my, not my job, because I have my family. So according to that, what company says, I have to do it. So now we are going to AR and VR, and they are saying that in future again there is like voice recognition. So where the design is going?
See, Vishwajit, मुझे क्या लगता है? These are technologies. Technologies are like tools. They will keep changing. तो पहले pencil होती थी. We used to do, 2 HP से drawing करते थे, 6 HP से करते थे. We also used charcoal. We learned how to use brushes. Then this Apple ka pencil came and we started drawing on the iPad. All that. So, oh God.
Hey, who is it? Can you please put yourself on mute? Yeah.
No. I think take some medicine also, yeah.
Totally, yeah.
And thank God that this virus is not traveling through the microphone.
That's the benefit of having an online forum, yeah.
So Biswajit, what I'm saying is that...
Sir, I have a question on a slightly lighter note. So, hello?
Yeah, Abhishek, go on.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Abhishek, we can hear you.
I
think he got disconnected, yeah.
So Biswajit, is your question answered?
Actually, that is Sachin.
Yeah, that was for
Sachin. Yeah.
That was Sachin.
It's partly answered, but we have to move. And the future is like
what I'm saying. Believe in the core of being a designer. So remain a designer. These tools and technologies will keep changing.
Yeah, because what happens is, suppose a person completes his studies in, let's say, in some technologies. Once he completes his studies in some technologies, already the market is in different technologies. It's very difficult, to compete as per the market if a person really wants to.
But that's what I'm saying. That we're not talking in technologies. So people who graduate in technologies, yes, they will also need to keep moving with the time. But I think designers are evergreen. You are relevant forever because you know how to learn. And once you know how to learn, you can learn any damn time. I mean, VR aa gaya hai, AI aa gaya hai, ML aa gaya hai, whatever is coming, you keep learning it.
Yes.
In fact, by learning it, we are the people who keep inventing it.
That's true.
We are moving ahead and we keep telling people, okay, now this is what is to be done. So, I mean, I do that every time I'm working on a new process. I create a new process and I name it something, and I find that many other companies and other designers start using it. So we are the people who are moving technologies or processes or tools So we should just keep up with that. Don't worry about technologies. I
Yeah,
mean, we'll keep
that is the only option we have. We have to move
yeah,
forward.
Also, Sachin, just to add here, I think technology is something which is changing every year, but I think we are designing for humans, and I think humans do not change that fast, and we change in decades. So
very well
yeah, I
said.
think
Very well said. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's a very good point.
Absolutely. Very right.
Hello,
Yes.
sir. I have a question.
Hi,
Sir, as now the coronavirus is in a hype, so economy has got down like really badly. So how can a designer help to get it in a good position again?
See, it's the same way like everybody else. Wash your hands, cover your face. I think I really don't know. See, one is, of course, I mean, we're learning a lot about working from home technologies. We're not prepared to work from home. Not every industry. I mean, obviously, the first industry is tech, and tech industry has what I'm hearing is we are prepared almost 70-75% people are moving work from home will do. But what happens to the manufacturing industry? What happens to the retail industry? Those things I think we need to create processes. So as designers, like everyone else, I think in terms of our responsibility remains that yes, we need to figure out how we continue contributing and working offline or online. I think that's one thing. What more can we do? I'm not very sure. I'm not very sure. Yeah, what I'm hearing is that there's a very less direct intervention which we have. But wherever you are in your companies and in your work with your management of creating a process which is less painful for people to transition or to come into work, or is more empathy value in terms of if there's somebody's family members not well, what is that person's role, and rest everybody else has to be sort of taking that into account. Besides that, I don't know, as a professional designer, what we can do, I'm not very sure. Of course we can make very pretty posters and say ye mat karo wo mat karo, how to tackle this, spread the right information, create the right information notes, messaging, and that I think is happening very well already. Very well, very. India is already, I think, ahead of the curve on this.
If you call someone,
Hopefully.
yeah, you got that message, coronavirus message, and that ringtone is something like caller tune.
I would like to add to that, Molina. So, as a designer, if you're really looking out for some social work kind of thing, and you want to help with them being a designer, so you can definitely start creating more informative flyers. Because if you think about the people who are working in mechanical industry, they are not that well versed with the English language. So you can definitely create flyers in their own language and make it more interesting and more catchy, so that it catches their eye, and they read it out and they understand that what is the use of hygiene, why do they need to stay clean so that they don't catch the virus. So these things you can do as a designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think again, this kind of scenarios are the ones when we start innovating again. I think, like, as we all know, like, necessity is the beginning of
Mother
innovative.
of invention.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
mother of invention, right? So this is again, if I see a problem, I will start giving my brain more into it. Like, what can be done? As Sudhir mentioned, like, what will happen to the retail industries who does not have an option to work from home? So I think this will be the scenario when we will again start putting our brains and ideas together and start doing something new, start innovating and inventing something new on those lines. Yeah.
So Sudhir, one last question from my end. So since I've like working as a designer, and I like I'm talking about as a professional designer and my personal growth, or any designer's personal growth. What do you see like would would be the like a position in an industry which is very fruitful for a designer, or we should look after that, like a VP of design. I don't know. I mean, like even if I'm a VP of design in some company, I would be doing the same thing. Maybe more proficiently or managing more people. But I don't know. I mean, like if I want to challenge myself, if a designer want to challenge their their work or themselves, what should they do? I mean, and what should they seek after uh, in terms of growth?
Yeah, see, I think you're talking about titles, right? So within industry, what I feel is that the design managers have a role. So all designers basically, after a few years, transition into becoming managers. We start managing projects and we start managing other designers, and because we have the understanding of that, right?
Yeah.
And then after some more time, you become even bigger designer, bigger manager. So you find that as the experience grows, your management role becomes bigger and your design role actually becomes smaller. And the design role many times will limit to becoming a mentor or becoming a director, or guiding the role of what the design should be doing within an organization. And I think that's where you need to have the macro picture in mind. Okay, now I've come to the scale that I have a role to play within the organization, but it also has repercussions on the profession of design outside. So that's where I said that you need to become a part of community, start basically setting systems which might be different, which are talking more about design community than just being, if you're an organization, for example, you need to then start creating buzz about your organizational capacity as designers, right? I think title wise, I was in a presentation in China recently with these guys, the Xiaomi guys, and they are three or four founders, and one of them is an industrial designer, and he basically gave a presentation on how, and he is a chief design officer, CDO. So he gave a presentation on how the role of CEO and CDO should be similar now in the market. But the fact is that there are very few Indian designers who have the understanding of marketing, wealth generation, the other side of the design. We focus too much narrowly on design. So if we keep focusing narrowly on design, we will remain in that silo of design alone. We need to get out of that and start seeing how does it affect society, how does it affect my company, how does it affect profitability. I think the moment you do that, you are a person who's sitting on the board level within the company. And the moment you start sitting on the board level, you are making decisions which are not, I mean, they would be design driven decisions. Your company becomes a design driven company. Decisions, they are beyond.
Sure.
So as a corporate designers, I think it's a responsibility for us to grow beyond designers. We need to understand the relevance of our industry and our company to the economy of the country, to the economy of or that department, to the basically economics of the company itself, which many designers fail. They don't understand. So when you're talking to, for example, the head of technology or the head of marketing in your organization, you should be at the same level because they have certain goals and your goals have to be aligned with that. And can you see how lovely would it be that if an organization marketing guy is saying, okay, we need, this is our sales target and we need so much, and the infrastructure HR guy says, okay, that means we need so many people, and the design guy says, okay, that means we need this kind of design value system right now, then it starts moving in the same direction. So the role of the designer finally has to move out of design,
absolutely,
bigger into management role.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Sudhir. But I think we have already run out of time. So yeah, it's already 1:05 now. So yeah, great. I think this was a really great discussion today. Thank you so much, Sudhir, for spending this time with us.
Thank you.
And yeah, it was really a great session. And guys, I hope you all have clarified your questions, your whatever you wish to ask Sudhir. And yeah, so I think it would be we need to end the call today for the time being, and definitely we will again reach out to Sudhir if he would love to come back to the session in future and share his
my
share his
pleasure.
design stories with us. And it really helps us and it really motivates us to a large extent in that way. Yeah, great.
Thanks, Sudhir. Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Thank you
thanks to
so much.
everyone.
And I will share the recording of this session with everyone. And yeah, so that you can all refer to the session later on. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, everyone.
Yes,
Pleasure. I would love to be back. Thank you. And next time I can connect from the office, which has a better connection.
Sure. One more thing. If we all get connected on LinkedIn, there on one platform, that would be nice.
Yeah, we should create a group.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. I think IDF Kolkata does not have any group, but Design Kolkata, which is a second thing along with the IDF Kolkata, we have a group. So I can create an IDF Kolkata group in LinkedIn and then share it with everyone. So maybe we can do that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great thing. We'll connect you.
Sure. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Sudhir, once
Have
again.
a nice weekend. Have a safe weekend.
Absolutely. Same to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, everyone. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.